Hello, Boris Pravisham here. We're back with the supply and repair ship, which have kind of broken my own rules and gotten a little bit carried away. I was hoping to keep this small, so what I think I'll do is I'll continue with this one because I like how it's starting to turn out, and then maybe do a smaller survival-ready version later on. But yes, some of you have replied saying that you'd prefer multiple episodes showing the updates as I build it, so I thought rather than keep you waiting, I'll show you the little bit extra that I've done. But yeah, I'll try and edit together my ramblings into something coherent. The biggest change, the one that I've worked the most on, is the massive great big door on the back. Annoyingly, the join isn't in the middle because this is an odd number of blocks. There's no way I can fix that. Like I said, I did get a bit carried away because I kind of want to make this look nice, and you can see the startings of the design for the exterior on the back of that door there. Now I'll go up and show you how it works. Now you can see there's the repair bay door lock. It's not locked at the moment, but that door locks on to the ship so that it doesn't fly open. Now we go to the repair bay door. I've set it all up. There's two rotors on either side. I'll show you that in a second. What we do is click reverse and open. There opens the door. All nice and stable. There's one rotor on that side pointing one way, one rotor on the other side pointing the other way. This is the most stable version of a door that opens like this that I know of. If you have just one, it starts to wobble a little bit. As you can see then, that was just straight down and stopped. Now what I've done is gone into each of those rotors separately, which I can show you now, and set the opposite angle limits. So that way they can operate as one. So we've got the port side, the left, negative 46 and 0, and the other side is 0 and 46. So they're opposite, and they have the opposite limits set up, and you can see the velocity is exactly the same. You don't touch any of this, you just have to click reverse to change it. And then if we go up to the new grouping system, and then all you have to do is click reverse, and it reverses the velocity on both of them. That only shows one at the moment, but if I go back in, where are we? Down here. See, negative 54, 0.54, and positive, and it changes. It goes in the opposite direction, and I've got it set up there. I could have it a little bit closer, but there's another row down there stopping it. I think that looks good enough as it is. You don't notice it. I've decided I'm going to have this sort of slanted back end, which I think will look all right. But yes, when that door comes down, it's directly, well, it's parallel to the top, so it's flat, so you can fly straight in and out of there without any problem. There is a, where's the access? Down here. This will be the access point, the main entrance to the ship. So you'll come in here. Here's the dock. I was going to put an arm in here. Someone suggested that I try that. The piston system, it's a little bit too big. I thought about that before, and whether it's a gravity piston or a conventional piston there, yeah, it's too big for this. Even though I've expanded the ship further than I wanted, it's still too big. So I was going to go with another system of hooking it onto the wall or onto the roof, and having, if you've seen a turret before, the three different rotors with the three different axes. I was going to do that so you could sort of move around with the grinder, but of course that needs to be a large ship block, and that makes the thing massive, and yeah, there's not much room left to park anything in here, so I'm just going to leave it open for the moment. I have changed here, if you remember from the last video, this roof was actually right up to here, so I've brought it down lower, and I did that because, well, firstly I didn't like the wasted space, and secondly, upstairs, which we'll get to in a moment, I expanded that a little bit. So we can go into the maintenance bays, and this one, yeah, oh no, there's a difference there. That goes to the collector at the top, which we'll get to in a moment. Right, so we're back upstairs, and through here, you know how I said that the bridge was going to be here? Well, I added a couple of set of stairways as well. Let's have a look at the bridge. Now, this is a little bit, I mean, you don't really need something as complicated as this for what is essentially a maintenance, but I quite like this sort of design. Those down there are for aesthetics, really. You know, that's where the worker bees sit and do their stuff. And this is where you would sit. In here you get a little bit of a view, not that you're going to be using it, you're mostly going to be flying from back up here. And thankfully you can get the entire ship in. I haven't finished this yet. I want to have a little bit of an aesthetic touch to the sides. At the moment they're just sort of glowing. I'll wait and see what that turns out like before I talk about it. Raven, in the comments yesterday, it's nice to be able to put voices to people's names on the comments now that I've been playing some mini-games with people. But Raven suggested that it was actually quite a clever idea that I make this the back of the ship here. So you would face that way and you'd actually put the bridge in the back of the ship, and then that would be the front way down there. I quite like the idea of that. It was sort of a bit of a change-up. This isn't a military vehicle, so it doesn't need to be overly complicated. I do want it to sort of be a conventional layout, plus I was already committed, but if you wanted to build that, I'd be interested in seeing it. I like that effect. That's one of the reasons I built that thing, is to have that haze as you walk in, and there's the spotlight for when you, well, it's not a spotlight, but you know, you get that little glow around where you sit. And then we can go upstairs. Yes, I also added these viewing platforms because apparently I like viewing platforms. I have no idea why anyone would use this. Perhaps it's also a bit of a privacy problem. But yeah, I'll leave it. It's nice. And we go upstairs. Now, you remember this used to be those two. There used to be two, and they're skinny little passageways up here that I wasn't sure what to do with. Well, I decided to open them up because I put that up there, at that level there. That will hopefully, maybe there'll be one more layer above it, but it will hopefully be the top, which that might turn into heavy armor depending on what sort of weight I wanted to go for. And yeah, so that'll be the top of the ship. And then I had this little bit of room to play with down here. So I opened it up between the two. So you've got all this room. I'll talk about that in a minute. And I don't know what to do with it. But yeah, if you know what to do with it up here, then I'm happily taking suggestions. But yeah, this is where I'm going to squeeze in the gravity generator. There's going to be a beacon there. I'm not sure what to name this ship yet. So I've just named the beacon to be named. If you have any naming ideas, throw them out as well. I still like these viewing platforms. Then I could just sit here and look and imagine. See, I don't really care if any of my builds ever actually get used. I just like sitting and imagining. Anyway, yes, the collector system. That's the first little bit. There, so this will be the top of the ship. I think this layer here will be the top layer, so I'll have a layer of heavy armor across there. I'm also not sure what to do with this bit up here. I would like to leave it open like that because it would be good for the color scheme, and I don't think it needs to be that heavy that the entire thing needs to be covered in heavy armor. Yes, these collectors, these are drop-off points, so if you need to restock or whatever in this ship, then you just fly your whatever vehicle, some sort of a transport vehicle. You would have the connector on that, pipe straight into there, and that connects in. The entire system in this ship is all one. So they go down into those conveyors, which would then pipe out into this pipe. Hopefully I've set them all up right. I'm pretty sure that works, doesn't it? I haven't played around with them very much. I've been too busy making silly mini games. Yes, that leads down, like I showed before, to that pipe, that new pipe in the maintenance room that went up. That's the front from the outside. I am looking to sort of make it sweep up to that level. I'll also have a couple of connectors. I'm not sure where, but connectors pumping that allows you to pump stuff out. Very nice. It looks a little bit ugly with that thing sticking out, but by the time I realized I was going to have another layer on the back of it, I'd already put it all together, and I didn't want to spend another half hour rebuilding it, but I think it looks alright with that inner working showing. It sort of shows how the door works, and I think that's alright. But yes, that's all. Hopefully you don't mind these sort of rambling videos. I normally like to have them a bit more structured, but hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, please let me know, because I did use a couple of them. As I said, I'm just rambling, so I don't have them written down next to me or anything. Also, another thing I'm going to be doing is uploading each stage to the Steam Workshop. Someone asked me to upload it, so I did. The part 1's up there, and this will be labelled Supply and Repair Ship Part 2. The link will be in the description, so you can download this and try and do better than me, because I'm not the greatest builder in the world. I'm sure you can do better. It doesn't necessarily have to be better. Like I've said before, these games can be very boring and frustrating if you have nothing to do. So hopefully, even if you don't like any of this, it's given you the idea to go build your own supply and repair ship. Gives you something to do in this game, and that's exactly why I like this sort of game. It's great fun. So yes, that's all. Goodbye.